Hey there, all things MSP crew. We are here live from PAX8 Beyond, and I have Pinar from Timus Networks here, and we were discussing this right before we started recording, and this sounds like a really interesting product for, really not a product, a platform for MSPs. But I'm going to let Pinar talk about Timus Networks, and first of all, what is your role at Timus, and then let us know what the platform is more about.
Sure. Thanks so much for having me, by the way. So I'm Pinar. I'm the CEO of Timus Networks. We have our HQ in Tampa, just like a lot of other channel vendors. I live in Miami, but our office is in Tampa. So what Timus does is modernizing security for the security-first MSP. The traditional network perimeter, as we know it, is gone. Right? We were just talking about it. Like, data is everywhere. Data is in the cloud. Data is in the office. Data is on users' devices. So are the employees, right? Like, even if they're working from the office, as soon as they take their laptops, smartphones, and connect to public Wi-Fi somewhere, they create so much risk for their businesses, for the small, medium businesses. I can tell you, employees are just like walking risk factors, right? Like just running around like risk. So in this new era, how do you make sure that the MSPs still have total control of the network, right? Like how do they protect their clients where, again, like the data users are not traditionally in the office anymore. So SASE is a modern way of protecting this type of an environment. So it is in our case, Timus SASE is 100% cloud-based. So we have dedicated private gateways that are 1 gig blazing fast. You have a layer 3, layer 7 cloud firewall that sits on top. And we have an always-on agent that sits on users' devices, OS agnostic, and it has an encrypted tunnel at all time from the device to the cloud gateway. Meaning the users don't need to do anything. So it really eliminates the friction.
So that's really important. The fact that the users don't have to do anything is key, because that is what is going to reduce the ticket volume that we talked about earlier. And I think for MSPs, that is a key component of any item that they're looking at adding to their portfolio is, how is this going to affect my help desk? And so I think that's really important.
100%, plus the users hate VPNs, right? So if you rely on the user to do the right thing 24/7, like you connect to the VPN, you will fail. Like even I will fail, right? Because we have our day jobs and stuff. So we need to automate security. Just like we would never let a laptop without an EDR antivirus into the network, the time is now, like, to also stop allowing laptops unprotected, right, without any encryption into corporate resources. Like the business email compromise is the major reason for financial loss and bankruptcy in small, medium businesses. And with a solution like ours, like all the dedicated gateways come with a static IP. So MSPs can lock all the business critical SaaS apps behind that IP. So if a hacker steals the SaaS credentials, which they will, right, in this time and age, phishing, social engineering, it became so sophisticated. Even with that, if the hacker has the credentials, but they don't have a Timus agent on their device, they will not be able to get in because they're not coming from that static IP.
Because they're not going through that IP address.
Exactly.
So really what you're doing is you're decentralizing the network, but then allowing all of those endpoints to come back through a central point, but now it's software defined rather than a piece of hardware inside of an office somewhere, which is really the part that has changed, right? Even with small to medium-sized businesses, people are everywhere. That means their devices are everywhere and they're working from everywhere. And most importantly, they're accessing and using data everywhere that could be compromised. And so that's what we're protecting, and it makes it very easy. I see that, where you can now restrict access to all those SaaS apps to the one IP address that's coming from Timus.
And in addition to, let's say that, in the office you still have a lot of servers, you have a lot of IoT devices and so on. So you can still have your on-premise firewall, and from the dedicated gateway, you would just create these unlimited IPsec tunnels to wherever you want, like cloud servers, on-prem firewalls. So it's a way of securing everything regardless of location, device, users. So one thing I did not mention, as you can imagine, our biggest use case is replacing all these outdated VPNs, right? With what we have.
Which are horrible, by the way.
100%. But is always on VPN with zero trust layered on top. Like we have one of the richest set of ZTNA policy engines in the market. Our firewall is very strong, it's very granular, and we look at everything about the identity of the user before we allow them into the network. And of course with least privilege. Like we look at, is this a new device, new location? Are you geofenced? Is your email in the dark web? Did you do an impossible travel? How many times did you fail before? And only when we see a risk, then we push an MFA, because MFA fatigue is also real. So as you can see, like the whole goal is to really make it frictionless, make it easy.
So I really like that part of it, that you're making it zero trust.
Yes.
But you're also making it as convenient for the end user so that you don't have that fatigue and they're less likely to try and bypass it in some way that would then compromise the organization.
And it's also for compliance, right? Like a lot of the small, medium businesses, they need to be compliant. They need to make sure people are using the tools they're supposed to use. So it really allows the MSPs to push compliance and makes it easy. And as everybody's coming through the single point of entry, you can imagine the deep network visibility now MSPs have. And this is what I was talking about in the beginning when I said we give back the control of the network back to the MSP. So the MSP at any given point can know exactly what's going on in the network, what the users are doing, what the devices are doing. We have very rich reporting, lots of dashboards, widgets that they can share, automate sharing of the reporting with the clients. So that's another big element, which makes also compliance and audit trails and so on very easy.
So it sounds like, for those reasons, there's a couple of different ways that could play really well for an MSP. Number one, even though you're decentralizing the network, you're now centralizing the management back to the MSP. How much time do you think it saves an MSP in network and location-specific management because you're now using a software-defined network?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good question. And so a couple of things. First, we have no hardware, right? So no hardware, no maintenance, no going to the office, no patches, nothing like that. The second thing is because we're streamlining VPNs, DNS filters, so we have a secure web gateway, so you can get rid of DNS filter, you can get rid of your paid MFA tools, and you can manage all of your clients, their devices, and all of that through a multi-tenant global management portal. So it really, I mean, we have a lot of case studies. We have case studies that show that MSPs on average are saving like 30% in support tickets, up to 50 hours a month on IT support. So they can focus on more important things, right? Yeah.
Now, you did mention that you guys are channel only.
Yes.
And so what does your channel program look like for an MSP? What is the pricing model look like? Not the prices exactly, because those will change, obviously. But what is it per user? Is it per device? How do you guys do all of that?
So Timus Networks, like I can tell you, like we're partner crazed. You know, like ultimately we are here to create something that MSPs love to use. You know, obviously everybody wants to make money, but that's why as the CEO I'm here, our CTO is here. Like we really love listening to the MSPs and keep iterating so that the product itself is very useful to the MSPs. We built this solution from the ground up for the channel, like to deploy it through the MSP. And what this means is like this is not an enterprise solution that bolted to make it for the channel, right? No, like everything is optimized to make it easy to use, easy to deploy. And from a business perspective, it's the same. We are very easy to do business with. We have simple per user pricing that allows you to have up to 4 devices, OS agnostic. So, you know, you can have it one on your laptop, one on your phone, iPad, and so on. And if you go to Reddit, read reviews about us, like one thing you'll see that our support is second to none.
And if Reddit is saying that, then you know it's true, because that is the wild west of the channel, right?
Exactly.
So one of the things that makes the channel, and the MSP channel specifically, kind of weird and different, is the way we call it, is that you could have very small clients and very large clients.
Indeed.
How does Timus scale from small to large, and vice versa?
Sure. So we're 100% cloud-based and built to scale, really, because we use cloud infrastructure. We have global POPs all over the world, and our gateways auto-scale such that you maintain that 1 gig throughput. We used to have it before, but now we actually don't even have that 5-user minimum. So, you can have like solopreneurs using Timus, or we have clients that are like 600-700 users. So from the small clients to very large clients, we're able to scale. The product auto scales, and from an MSP perspective, yes, we have small lifestyle MSPs. We are supporting some massive names out there like Nexus Tech, 90,000 endpoints. And so, yeah.
And I think that's important in this industry to know that you guys do support the smaller MSPs.
Yes.
Because there are so many of them supporting what I would even call not SMB but micro SMB.
Yeah.
That just as much as the larger companies.
Sure.
Need this, because sometimes even though financially it's not as much of a risk, you're risking the livelihood of an entire family. Yeah. When you're talking about a business that small. So it's very critical to have that feature, and I really appreciate that you guys do. And
then two upcoming news for MSPs. So one is we're going to be in PAX8. So we were not in PAX8. We're just starting the project at end of this month. So in 2 months, we'll be part of the PAX8 ecosystem, which we love because we have a lot of MSP partners that were asking for it, and here we are. The second thing is coming back to smaller SMBs, micro SMBs. So one aspect of that is the dedicated gateway. Of course, it also has a cost per month, right? So you're giving, it has its own CPU, compute, storage, and so on. So we had a lot of ask about shared gateways. Hey, how can I make sure I can still deploy this to smaller clients where they don't want to pay $40, $50 a month just for a gateway? So that's the other news is we're coming up with shared gateways. We heard our MSP partners loud and clear. So starting next month, Timus Networks will also be offering Timus SASE on shared gateways.
And see, that is the difference, guys, between a real channel company that listens to its customers and those that are just here to make money. And I hate to say it, but there are those here. So it's refreshing to hear, especially an infrastructure company that is taking the time to get to know this business and understand the unique needs of this side of the business. So anything else that you want to share?
So we are ambitious. We want to be the SASE leader in the channel. Like, we are really working hard to create a product that is optimized for the channel, that is incredibly useful for the modern workforce. Because guys, like the MSPs, your clients need you. Like the SMBs, you really have a responsibility to move from IT support vendor to a proactive security partner, strategic security partner. Like, their livelihoods depend on you, because they're never going to know the way you know what they need to do. So I think when MSPs go to their clients, it should not be a pricing discussion. This is not a cost center anymore. It's a business enabler. So I think that's when I'm talking with our MSP partners, like, this is really, you need to stand up for your clients, because sometimes they don't know what they don't know.
They don't know how this stuff works in the background,
So that's why I think, like, what we are doing, for example, is not an add-on. Like, it has to be in the basic MSP stack, because it's becoming as vital as an antivirus.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks so much, Rick.
Thank you. Really appreciate you doing this, and I look forward to seeing more from Timus coming out in the near future. I would love to actually do a little bit more in detail, if you guys would like, do a presentation on exactly how it works for the audience. So we'll do something later on.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.